Yo, 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 what is up, my fallopian tubers? Cesario from the barrio coming back at you with another video for your butt. So today I'm doing a video response for Stuke's baseball cards and curiosities. Alright, so what he wanted to do is to make a video talking about meeting or an experience you had with a professional athlete. So I was trying to think of one that I haven't made before. You know, I've done Reggie Jackson, I've done Ichiro, my Jeter. You know, I haven't had that many. But, and then I said, you know what, Brett Saberhagen. I don't think it just popped in my head like, boop, there it was. I was like, I don't think I ever talked about Brett Saberhagen, you know. And this is not like a cool, crazy experience. It was just, you know, I actually met him and I was starstruck, you know, but I kept it professional. So anyways, that's why it also gave me an excuse to pull out my Royals jersey. Now you might think, why do I have a Royals jersey? I played in an independent league, and basically it was just a bunch of old high school players from my high school, you know, different graduating years, so it was pretty cool. And we would basically play against other former high school players, you know, same thing, that they would form a team. So it was traveling, you know, we'd go to Pasadena, play at Pasadena, old high school, West Covina, Almani, whatever. And we used to change teams all the time. My friend basically, I don't know how he did it back then. I don't know if the internet was around or eBay or anything like that. But he would buy like lots of giveaway jerseys, I guess, that didn't sell. So we had one from the Royals. We, you know, then a couple years we were to the Atlanta Braves, the A's and stuff like that, the Orioles. And they were basically like giveaway jerseys, you know, from giveaways from the stadium. And so we would be that team for that year. But it was pretty cool. And another thing, Royals. Have you guys ever heard that song, You'll Never Be Royals, Royals? A lot of people like to say that that song was inspired by George Brett. But what it was is that girl, when she was at a concert, we're going to do a concert in Kansas City, and she was at the airport, there was a George Brett poster that she saw. You know, but she was intrigued by the name Royals, and that's how the song came into her head. We'll never be Royals. So when people say like, oh, that song was inspired by George Brett, not necessarily. It was just the Royals name, you know. But anyways, I digest. All right, but without further Mountain Dew, let's get to me meeting Brett Saberhagen. So basically, my friend had a business that I helped him out with. Where we used to go to high schools, whatever, colleges, and help rebuild baseball fields, rebuild the mound, the home plates, whatever they needed. And he calls me one day. He's all like, yeah, so this guy, Brett Saberhagen, I guess used to be a pitcher. He called me. He says he wants us to fix a bullpen that he has at this training facility. I was like, oh, yeah, Brett Saberhagen. He's like, oh, you know who he is? I was like, yeah, he was really good. And I said, well, my friend used to always point out how he was really good on odd years, and then he'd be bad on even years. It was kind of like a stigma that he had in his, like the first half of his career, basically. He'd be bad on even years and be really good on odd years. You know, it's one of those things. But anyway, so yeah, you know, we went over there and he was telling me, yeah, they're having problems, saying that it's cracked all the time, that it's blowing out. I was like, oh yeah, it's dry, right? I'm like, yeah, that's what I told them. I said, and they're probably using brick dust because that's what everybody would buy, was brick dust back then. So we get there, you know, there he is, Brett Saberhagen, recognize him right away. And I was like, ooh, that's Brett Saberhagen. It's a Cy Young winner, you know. But I kept it professional, you know, professional. So we were talking to him, then we explained to him, and it was kind of cool because he was really intrigued. And it struck me as like kind of like a situation, like probably a NASCAR driver or something, maybe, you know, maybe in wrestling. Like, I'm sure the driver spends all his time driving. That's what he concentrates on. And maybe he can't rebuild an engine. Maybe he can't diagnose a problem, you know. His focus is on driving and leaves the mechanics to work on the car. And it's kind of the same thing with the pitcher. So I'm saying about maybe even a wrestler. And wrestler maybe doesn't know what exactly a ring is made out of, and you know what it takes to build it. But so we started explaining to him, you know, like, okay, well, the mound is always wet. It's always got to stay wet. And he was like, how do you do that? And I was like, well, yeah, he's the sun, the wind, you know, they crack it, they dry it up real fast. And he was, oh, we don't got to worry about that. We're indoors. It was an indoor training facility like in Pasadena. And we're like, no, you guys have air conditioning. The air conditioning just sucks up all the moisture out of the air. You know, we know this from talking to other people, other groundskeepers, you know, like Arizona, you know, that work in domes. And they'll tell us, yeah, once they close the top and they turn on the air conditioning, man, the water from the mound and the dirt, home plate, it'll dry up and crack, you know. So normally, you know, we're explaining to us, like, you know, I work at Dodge Stadium and I fix the bullpens. So basically, they say out of game time, the game is at 7, and I fix the mound like at 5, the bullpen at 5:45, and then I soak the hell out of it. Basically, from like 5:45 almost to like 6:10, 6:15, it's probably too wet to use. Like if a pitcher got on it right away, he'd probably like, you know, be caking mud. But the thing is, you know, I know that they're not gonna get on it till about 6:45. So for about a half hour, it's too wet. You know, but once it gets around 6:15, 6:30, it's almost at the perfect condition, you know, and pitcher's going to get on at 6:45, a 7 o'clock game. You know, it's like clockwork. It's like that every time. So, you know, I was explaining that stuff to him. He was intrigued, man. You know, it was pretty cool to have his attention like that. You know, so, you know, we did everything. We fixed it. We told him, you know, we said, like, you got to get a tarp. You got to tarp it so the air conditioner, like, it doesn't dry it up. So we did the job, and my friend, like, I remember him telling me, are you going to get his autographs? I was like, no, I don't do autographs. I don't collect autographs. And then we laughed. So then, like, about, man, you know, a week later, my friend calls me. He's like, hey, man, they're saying that their shit's cracked. I was like, well, yeah, if it's cracked, it means they're not keeping it wet. And he's all, yeah, but, you know, it's a callback, customer service. We got to go back. We got to go back and explain to them what's going on. I was like, man, we told them this was going to happen if they don't keep it wet. So anyways, we went back, and this time I took my 85 Tops and my 87 Fleer Brett Saberhagen. Those are the first images that popped into my head when I remember when my friend told me, he's, yeah, you know, Brett Saberhagen is. Like, right away, those are the two pictures I had in my head, his 85 Tops and his 87 Fleer, because I love 87 Fleer. And so this time I took those cards, you know, raw in my back pocket, and with the Sharpie, and I was like, because my friend was encouraging me, get his autograph, get his autograph. He's cool, man. He'll give it to you. And so we went back and explained to them, like, no, man, you got to keep it wet. He's like, man, we wet it every night, you know. Like, no. They're like, I tried to explain to them, I was like, if the thing is exposed all day, like you guys have it exposed, literally, you're going to have to be watering it like every 2 hours. All day. It's not a one day thing, you know, like you know, and he was like, oh, you know, he's like, well, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to have these guys do it, you know what I mean? And it was cool, and like we fixed it, and we explained everything to them, and they said, okay, now we're going to buy a tarp for sure. Like, we explained to them, like, it's not our fault. Like, this is what it is. You got to keep it wet all day, all the time. It's not going to hurt you. You know, every time you guys pitch off a mound, it is wet. It's wet. It's not dry. You know, it's got to be wet. Don't be afraid of be wetting it. You know, and so we explained to them, and everything was cool. Then we were saying bye, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna ask him for his autograph, and I chickened out. I just couldn't do it. But anyways, that's how I met Brett Saberhagen, and after that, we left, and we never got a call back. So I don't know exactly if they had success keeping it up, but they have the knowledge. So anyways, Stooks, baseball cards, and curiosities. There's my video response and an encounter I had with Brett Saberhagen. So love the hobby, people. Just keep collecting baseball cards forever, I say. Ciao! Check out his channel. I will put a link below. Alright?